Hi, this is Elizabeth, and I wanted to take you on a little journey with me on how I wrote and published my book, Put on the Blindfold and Jump. It's a survival guide to staying healthy during change. And what had happened was I knew I had a book in me. I knew I had a message to tell. I had just come out of studying from my nutrition course. I was finishing up that nutrition course with Institute of Integrative Nutrition at the time. This was about the end of 2014. And I got an email about enrolling in another course for publishing, for self-publishing a book. And I knew I had this book idea in me. I had already had the title in me, which was it was a dream of mine to want to write, and I really didn't want to wait around for someone to declare myself a writer. I decided that I was going to self-publish my book and declare myself a writer just because I decided to publish a book and have a really great idea and a really great title with this idea. So Put on the Blindfold and Jump was something I used to say a lot to people in regards to stepping into a new life after an old life just tends to get pulled away from you, or it comes to an end, like an end of a relationship, which happened to me, the end of a career, and I had to have a career change that also happened to me. And I had to move from my hometown at the time, which was Seville, Spain. I was moving back to San Antonio, and that was a really, really big change for me as well. So when I was talking about all these changes, I was telling people that it was like putting on the blindfold and jumping into the void, not knowing what was going to happen and what new life was going to take place. And I was really, really scared about it, actually. I had a lot of unsettling feelings. I didn't know what was happening, and I really missed my old life, even though the old life wasn't working. So I had a lot of insight on that. I had gone through a health issue at the time. My health was affected from all of this change. And I had this idea that if I had one thing to write and a message to put out into the world, what would that be? And this was it. This book was it. It was the idea of what I could have used at the time when I was going through all these changes about staying healthy. And I wrote chapter by chapter based on that, on many different aspects of being healthy, which was, to name a few, would be support and nutrition and avoiding the tendencies to want to just cover everything up and move on. That was what was my biggest issue at the time, was that I just delved into working and workaholism and keeping myself busy instead of really dealing with the emotions that were coming up when I was going through all these big changes. And so I really wanted to write this book to help people not go through the same things I did, which was, a lot of struggle and everything. And I ended up landing in the hospital because of all this struggle. And so I really, really wanted to write a kind of survival guide to help people really realize, like, look, you're going through changes and you want to take care of your body better than, running it through the ground or just trying to stay busy and not having time to breathe and feel, which is something that I was really, really avoiding talking about it with people. I was just kind of keeping everything to myself. And so that was the premise of this book. So I enrolled in this course. I started writing the book, and then they sweetened the deal in regards to the course that I was in. They said that if you publish the book by April 15th, 2015, and if you send us a copy and it's on Amazon and ready for purchase by that deadline, then you will be admitted into a contest where we will choose the top 10 writers who have published the books, and you will get an endorsement, and also you will get your tuition reimbursed for the course that you paid for, and also you will get a scholarship to an online business course that I really wanted to pursue. So I had this idea in me about this book. I knew it was a great title. I knew it was a great idea. I knew I had a chance of winning. And so I decided to write the book. I had my editor, the person that I had to edit my book. I had, put some feelers out to find the right graphics designer for this beautiful cover of this book. And so I reached out to a really good friend and mentor and also author to give me some advice on who I could reach out to do the cover of this book. And she said, well, if you talk to David, who lives in Mexico City, he'll be able to do the cover for you and also get it done very quickly, because I know you're on a deadline for this contest. And I said, yes, I'm on a deadline. I really want it quicker, sooner rather than later. And so I reached out to him, and I reached out to several other graphics designers to help me with the cover of this book. And he ended up responding back to me. He was very, very enthusiastic about my project, which was what I really wanted. I really wanted somebody who believed in my project and believed in the book that I was writing, and not just like some sort of, pay me this much per hour and, we'll just get it done. So I really wanted someone to believe in my project. And so we started working together, and it wasn't soon after that he was able to give me my cover in time, and I was able to publish the book. I submitted the book into the contest, and out of 65 authors, they chose 12, and I was in the top 12. And so I won the contest. Yes, I won the contest, and I was so grateful to David, my graphics designer, and he ended up becoming my husband. We ended up getting married, and it was such a great story that if you believe in something so strongly that, the right people will come to you. And also, it's just a book that I love going back to over and over again. I really felt like I was just the channel, the channel from up above getting this really great message. And I really, really wanted to give it to other people so that way they could feel that they were supported during their difficult transitions, to feel that someone else who wrote the book was also going through these transitions, had gone through them before, and had a lot to say about it. And I was also looking at how other people, other clients of mine, how they were going through transitions, and there were some common threads, and that's what's in this book, on how to take care of yourself better when you're going through difficult times, especially when these transitions are unexpected, that it's like that kind of pull the rug out from underneath you kind of change, the end of a relationship, moving, divorce, having a complete career change, moving, to a different city and starting from scratch. I know all about this. And it comes time and time again that we go through changes. At least that's been my experience, going through changes and learning, oh my goodness, I didn't talk about this. I didn't, talk about it with others, and being vulnerable and being able to share with others my experience. So I hope you really enjoy this book. I hope you find it helpful. And I hope you like the story of how I was able to win the contest with this book and really believed in this project. By the way, on a side note, when it comes to creativity, I can't say that I wasn't afraid to write this book. The whole fearful voice of who are you to write this book, and why did you write this book, and do you have enough to share about this? And all these little voices were coming into my head, these little gremlins, but I want to reinforce the fact that the voice inside me to get the message out there for other people to read was much stronger than that screeching little voice that was telling me to stop. And so if you have been wanting to do something in your life that seems a little bit, out of the status quo, and maybe, taking a little bit of risk, hence the title, Put on the Blindfold and Jump, I highly encourage you to follow that voice that's really telling you that to really step into your bigger self, and also just, taking that kind of adventurous risk to want to do something that's meaningful to you and probably meaningful to others as well. So I wanted to encourage you with that. And so I hope you like this story, and I hope you get to pick up a copy of my book, and I hope you really enjoy it, and I hope it helps you. Take care.